My name is Roland Rodell, and I started here in the fall of '02, and I've been teaching anthropology since then. I retired officially at the end of the spring semester in 2020. My educational background is from UW-La Crosse and UW-Milwaukee. As my undergraduate work in La Crosse, I got hooked on archaeology and ended up with a minor in anthropology, which is all they offered at that time. And then I went to UW-Milwaukee and entered graduate school in the fall of 1979, and eventually got my doctoral degree in 1995. In between those two times, I ended up teaching at La Crosse part-time beginning in 1989, and stayed there until this position opened up here at URock, and I jumped at it, and I have no regrets at all in my time spent here. Well, my interest is basically in archaeology, which is the recovery and study of material remains of the past. I had a wonderful opportunity in the summer of 1978 to spend the entire summer in Egypt and worked on a project there. But my interest in archaeology really came out of the fact that in La Crosse, where they were building a mall, was an area about 2 miles from where I grew up and was familiar with as a kid, is a cornfield. And here, to make a long story short, was the remnants of a palisaded village, a Native American village that we found. So that led me into graduate school. And since then, I've looked primarily at the upper Midwest and Eastern United States as far as my research interest in archaeology. I think I've taught about 9 or 10 different courses while I was here. There was the standard introductory type of course, which I taught, I think, every semester that I was here. But one course in particular that I worked a lot on to try to improve it and offer something to the students was biological anthropology. And I also had a lab section associated with this. In addition to that, we did a research project, or the students would do a research project. We'd go to the Milwaukee County Zoo, and each student would have randomly selected a primate there, and then we'd do a research paper on it, and then they would do observations of that primate in the zoo. So regardless of how good or how interested they were, all those years, students were really interested in going to the zoo, nothing else. And I always enjoyed it too. And I would do this with a person who was teaching maybe a biology class. So it was very successful in the long run. Well, I do like to read a lot. In fact, I usually get up pretty early in the morning, so I have time to read. And mostly what I read is history, some novels, etc., historical fiction as well, in addition to reading my interest in anthropology beyond my specific area of archaeology. I've really had a wonderful experience here at the Rock County campus. One of the things I really liked about it was that it's a small group, and I got to know, always in great depth, but I got to know everybody. I was familiar with everybody in the same, they're all familiar with me. And over the years, especially, of course, when we were part of the colleges, we took a lot of pride in the fact that we were this campus. And the ups and downs we all faced equally. It's been just really wonderful being here with this group campus. Many have left, retired since I started here. But I'll point out just the one person I think that I've stayed in strong contact with, and that's my next door neighbor here, Bob McAllister. And so I had a good location for an office as well, in addition to all the other people I interacted with here, and the students, of course. I've had some wonderful students in the past, and never had to have very large classes, with one exception. I used to teach religion, magic, and witchcraft, which every semester would have 37 to 42 students in it, which was quite a bit for a campus this size. But nonetheless, I've met some wonderful students here, and I know that some of them have kept in contact with me, not too recently though, but nonetheless, but have told me about their pursuits after leaving this campus and their successes. Yeah. One of the things that our department at the time, not the current department, but in the colleges, insisted upon was doing research. But it's very hard sometimes to do research when you're also teaching a full load and there are committee assignments as well. And so I have published a few things over the years, but now with my emeritus status, I'm allowed to have an office. And I just finished one small publication and sent it off about a week ago. And I'm working on another one that I have kept having to shelve over the years. And so I have time now to work on that. And the university has generously offered me an office to do this. And just in retrospect, education has become much more expensive than when I was an undergraduate. And I sometimes have been concerned about students who just take an attitude that I'm here and they put little or no effort into what they want to accomplish. And I see that on one hand as a waste of money. Someone's paying for it. I know it's difficult to start college. I've been through that. But nonetheless, what is important is to be attentive and inform your instructors and others that you will engage here on campus. If you can't attend classes, if you have questions about assignments, etc. And one of the fears I had to overcome as an undergraduate was asking questions. But once I realized when I asked questions that sometimes it was a question that others had, or it stimulated the instructor or the professor or whatever to go deeper into a particular topic as well. But most importantly is keep in contact with your instructors and others that you're working with on campus here. And it can be daunting, but perseverance is the most key item to get through college and keep working at it.